Hi guys, my name is the driver's teacher. Today I want us to talk about how to operate the fire extinguisher. But we cannot talk about just operating the fire extinguisher without we knowing what fire is. So let's talk about fire first before we go to how to operate the fire extinguisher. When we talked about fire, we said fire is a chemical combination of fuel, heat and oxygen. So whenever these three things come together, there will be fire formed. So please, we have all these things too in our car, and we said fuel can be solid, liquid or gas. So anything solid, anything liquid can form fire. We have seen what brings about fire. Let's talk about the causes of fire. So if we know that heat, oxygen and fuel form fire, let's look at for the causes. So these are some of the causes. Ignorance can lead to fire outbreak. Carelessness can also lead to fire outbreak. So when you are careless, it can result into fire. Deliberately, it can also lead to fire outbreak. Naturally, so natural disasters like earthquake and all that, they can spark fire. So any of this form can also lead to fire outbreak. Then abuse of electricity. When you overuse electrical gadgets in the house, it can also lead to fire outbreak. So we said vehicular fire are mostly caused by cooling system and electrical fault. So in the car, at the cooling area and the electrical area, like when you see naked cables and all that, try as much as possible to tape it before it can result into something else. So take note of that. Now let's move on to talk about the extinction method. That is ways we can put out fire. We can put out fire in so many ways, but let's look at this few. That is one, smootling or blanketing. Either you soak blanket in water and you spread it on top of the fire. That is what we call or we term as smootling. And also we have cooling system. Cooling is whereby you sprinkle the water on top of the fire. So most of the time, fire service people normally use the pumping machine to sprinkle the water on the fire. And we also have the starvation method. That is where you starve the fire through lack of food. So when one of these nutrients, that is the heat, fuel and oxygen, one is taken out, automatically you are starving the fire from getting that three things. So we normally use this method when there's fire outbreak concerning iron gadgets that can be handled. Then also how to use the fire extinguisher. So the fire extinguisher is also another tool you can use to fight for fire in your car or in your home. Let's quickly dash into the preventions. That is how one can prevent fire. We can always prevent fire in so many ways. Number one, always keep fire extinguisher in your car. So as a driver, you should always have a fire extinguisher in your car. Also, regularly check your electrical part or your electrical system. So in the morning, you must do your daily routine checks to know that if there's any other part that you need to give it to an electrician to look at it. Then also, turn off your engine anytime you are going to buy fuel. So whenever you are buying fuel, please turn off your engine. You don't leave the engine on when you are filling the tank. Lastly, obey all directives by fire service. Recently, fire service people were on the TV news here and there educating us how to go by our cylinders and all that, which they even advise that we should put our cylinders outside the kitchen whenever we are using it and all that. So please, always make sure you follow the directives by fire service to prevent fire from occurring. Now that we have seen all this, then let's quickly talk about how to operate fire extinguisher. So this is a fire extinguisher. We always operate fire extinguisher using the pass method. The pass method. So if you forget anything, just remember the word pass. So we are going to talk about how we can easily operate this fire extinguisher to turn off fire whenever there is fire outbreak. Now that we've seen that, we said whenever you want to operate the fire extinguisher, we use the pass method. So the first P, that is the letter pass means P-A-X-X, that is XX. So the first way to go by whenever you get to the scene of an accident where there's fire outbreak, you first of all pull out the safety pin or the locker, this one, the locker here. So you pull it out this way. The moment you pull it out, the trigger becomes easily to be handled. So the first thing that you need to take note is that you pull out the safety pin or the locker when you get to where the fire is. Please don't pull it and run with it before you get to the scene. No, pull it when you get to where the fire is occurring. After pulling out the safety pin or the locker, now the trigger becomes easy. So the next thing to do is you aim at the base of the fire. So if the fire is burning, let's say somewhere here, you make sure that the blower is turned directly to the base, then the hand comes to this particular section. So when you aim at the base of the fire, then you squeeze the trigger. So the first S stands for squeeze. So whenever you squeeze it, the first pressure will go straight to the base where the fire is burning, where the fire has started. Then after that, you see the flame. So you first of all tackle it from the base before the flame. So always make sure you go by using the pass method whenever you are turning off fire using a fire extinguisher. So the first one stands for pull out the safety pin, which is this. Aim at the base of the fire, then squeeze the trigger or the locker, then sweep the flame. In the course of you doing that, you can turn off the fire easily without any difficulties. So guys, I hope now we've learned how to use the fire extinguisher. We've seen what brings about fire. We've seen the causes, preventions, and what I want you to do is that please share the video to your friends. Also educate them, let them also understand the concept or how to use the fire extinguisher. And also I've got a program on TikTok which is called the Driver's Teacher Talk Show, which I come online every weekend, that is Saturday and Sunday, to have interaction with my followers, to have interaction with the public. So please find a time and join me on Saturday and Sunday, that is 6 p.m. as we talked about defensive driving techniques and defensive driving tips, and also helping to save life on our road. Also, don't forget this: whenever you are using the road, make sure you drive with safety in mind. When you are walking, make sure you walk with safety in mind. Let your life be important to you anytime you use the road. My name is the Driver's Teacher. Drive with safety in mind, walk with safety in mind.